Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the Akim out there preaching the truth. And also to the series, the brother Taz from Kabar, coming through the spirit power of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. I'm the brother from the GMS Miami, the Heralds of Yahushai 144 camp. And before I even want to start the video, there's two names of the Heavenly Father and His Son, who they so-called call God. His true name is Yahweh, which His name means He exists. All right, which that's the true Heavenly Father. And the true name of who they so-called call Jesus, His true name is Yahweh, which His name means He's gonna deliver, He's gonna save. All right, but onto the video. Simply just might title the video. All right, think about what happened in Noah times, and think about what's about to come in the future. All right, I'm gonna relate, basically what happened back then in the times of Noah, man. I read the story of Noah, Genesis chapter 6 on to very 7. Read through Genesis 6 and 7 and so on. Okay, you remember that the Lord did what He did, unto the world. Cause why? Cause the sons of God, started going off, and it was abundance of wickedness that was going upon the earth. Okay, the sons of God, talking about, the Lord's people started dwelling within, the daughters of men, started, multiplying, doing much wickedness. Also, too, why He decreased, how many years, man was going to live upon the earth to 120. But going back to the fact that, the Lord, only saved 8 souls in those times, but He destroyed all of them. All right, everybody that was upon the earth, He destroyed all of them. Because why? Because the wickedness that they was doing, man. Okay, and it's kind of, it's like an example, a great story to look upon, because that's what basically the Lord is about to do in these coming days, man. After these prophecies come to pass, the Lord is going to save his remnant. They 144,000, they elect in the 1/3 and destroy the rest of these nations. But, after that, the rest of Israel, okay, it's going to soon come, through the loins of the elect. But, it's basically, trying to relate the two stories, man. Okay, because what they was doing in that time, those marrying, drinking, dwelling in wickedness, all right, which, they are doing the same thing in these times. Okay, and speaking of Noah's was, Noah and his, Noah and his family, they were the elect, of those times, and which we're gonna have in these times, after all these prophecies come to pass and the coming of Yahushua. In World War III, after these things come to pass, you're going to have the elect of these times, are the 144K and the 1/3 are of the so-called Negros, Latino, and Native Americans. Okay, but, you really got to think about what happened back there and think about what's about to come to the future. All right, it's very similar, because the same where they was acting back this, is basically the same they doing right now, but it's way worse. Okay, but I'm gonna get into this Matthew chapter 24 verse 36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, not the angel of heaven, but my Father only. This is Yahushua speaking, basically going to how Yahushua don't even know what time He's gonna come. Only the Heavenly Father, which His true name is Yahweh, only knows. Okay, it says verse 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall verse 37, it says, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. All right, you understand? They was doing their daily deeds, as for example, as these people do right now. They do their daily deeds. They go amongst they do marrying, which they still do now, drinking, going around partying, they having their best life. All right. Until, in that day, until Noah closed that door, man. All right. When Noah closed that door, that's when the waters start coming down, man, from up top and from the bottom. Okay. And it says, and it's like in verse 39, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of the Son of Man to be. And also too, because it basically caught them by surprise. All right, in a sense, because at first, they didn't believe what Noah was saying. They didn't take heed, which that was all of the Lord. But once that first drop of rain hit, they, most likely thought of Noah. Because remember, in those days, okay, they ain't never seen rain. It was only dew in those times. Okay, but same, in these times, we speak about these nukes. Okay, we speak about these nukes and these ICBMs being shot. It's going to be very scary in those days when, okay, they start seeing the nukes being shot up and these nukes start hitting. But that's the thing too. All right, before these things even come to pass, the Lord's going to beam up his elect. Okay, and they're not gonna take part of that. Okay, for example, think about Noah time. Noah time, Noah in the rest of his family, they didn't just take part of the flood. Okay, they were saved. Why? Through the ark. Okay, and look at times we about to get into. Ultimately, the times where the times where of salvation. Okay, you're gonna have these nukes drops, but where are the elect? Men and women gonna be in those so-called UFOs in those chariots, man. All right, I got a quick precept just to back this up. This is Isaiah chapter 6, verse 20. It says, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 20, it says, "Come, my people, enter thou in thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee." And that's the spirit, because, you read in the story of Noah, the Lord ultimately had to shut that ark door, man. Okay, but hide thyself as it were for a little more until the indignation be overpassed. And the Lord's anger. It says verse 21, "For behold, the Lord cometh, Yahweh Shemashai coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain." You see, same thing as it happened in Noah times. The Lord had to judge the earth for their sins, man, their iniquities, man. Ultimately, starting with the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, because sin is transgression of the law, and who is the law ultimately given to? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man, the nation of Israel. But I just want to back up that point, because that's basically similar to what happened at times of Noah, but this time it's going to be of fire. Okay, back then it was of waters. All right, that's how the Lord did his doing. All right, showed his anger using the waters, but Lord, this time is not gonna flood the earth. And how do we know that? Is because of that covenant that the Lord made with with them time, having that rainbow. Okay, that rainbow represents that the Lord is not gonna flood the earth no more. But in these times about to get into, all right, the Lord is gonna destroy this place with fire. Or fire from where? Them so-called, well, I wouldn't even say so-called, but from the ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles that's gonna be shot from all ends of the earth, the 200 million warheads. Okay, this is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 6. It says, "Whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perish." Okay, that's talking about the times of Noah, when the Lord had the waters come down and from under. Okay, "But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire, the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men." Okay, and how is this gonna happen? Through the ultimately through them ICBM missiles, through those missiles. Also too, you're gonna have in that day where you're gonna have the Lord chariots come through, man. Okay, yeah, that's the point, because back then it was of waters, but this time it's gonna be of fire. All right, the Lord is really finna cleanse this earth. All right, because basically fire is a cleansing agent. Okay, but also too, just to punish the people among this place, man, because they're abundantly doing wickedness, especially our people. All right, constantly doing wickedness, and the Lord got something for them, and the Lord got a little prize box for our people, man. All right, also too, the Lord gonna come and judge these nations also too for what they have done to us. But ultimately, the Lord is gonna destroy the place with fire. All right, so basically like something like a similarity between these two stories. Okay, the elect of that time, you have the elect of that time, you're gonna have the elect of this time. All right, you're gonna have where the Lord gonna have his vehicle for salvation of that time and the vehicle of salvation of this time, which back then Noah had his ark. All right, which these times you're gonna have the the chariots, the so-called UFOs that we see you know, day by day, that's popping up like crazy. That's you know, that's our vehicles of salvation. But you know, it's a little similarity. But that's, you know, that's all within the video. You know, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Kakadash. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone. I want to say shalom to all the Akim out there, preach the truth and all truth, sincerity, Lord willing, this video is edifying. Abatam wa shalom.